well-equipped and battle-hardened.
There is not a liberal America and a conservative America. There is the United States of America.
Good night, and good luck.
Hey, everybody. There's an elephant in the room today that stinks. It stinks of corruption. It stinks of extortion. It stinks of blackmail. It stinks of pedophilia. It stinks of a Department of Justice so out of control, so dedicated to breaking the law to protect Donald Trump, that it can only have one name. That name is Todd Blanche. The Deputy Attorney General of the United States of America was in Tallahassee, Florida today to meet with Ghislaine Maxwell and her lawyer in an effort that no one can deny was to get her to take the bribe or the threat that was delivered to say that Donald Trump had nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein, that she never met him, never knew him. He left early. We know it's not true. But we do know why Jeffrey Epstein's running buddy, his partner, his friend, his sharer of wonderful secrets, Donald Trump, is nervous. Todd Blanche may be the elephant in the room, but it is going to be really hard to make this one go away. So most of you know Todd Blanche is one of Trump's personal attorneys. He still looks at himself, even though he is now the Deputy Attorney General of the United States of America, as Trump's personal attorney. He flew to Tallahassee, Florida today to meet with Ghislaine Maxwell and her lawyer, a guy named David Markus, who he is very close personal friends with, by the way, just so we have some more context here. The reason he's the elephant in the room today is that what he's doing is an example of how unbelievably corrupted the DOJ has become. Let's review the bidding. The Deputy Attorney General of the United States of America got on a private jet today and flew to Tallahassee, Florida, where I will tell you, since I live here, it was about 1 billion degrees. Early this morning, they put Ghislaine Maxwell in a van, drove her to the U.S. Attorney's office in Tallahassee. She and her attorney met with Blanche almost all day. Do you think Todd Blanche was here because he cares about the victims of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell's pedophile ring? Do you think he was here because he cares about the lives of the victims that were ruined by Ghislaine Maxwell recruiting and gaslighting and brainwashing and training these girls to be sex slaves for Epstein and his friends? You think that was why Todd Blanche was here? You think Todd Blanche was here because he's trying to find justice for anyone who was harmed by Epstein and Maxwell? If you do, I have several bridges in New York City to sell you. He was not. Todd Blanche, the Deputy Attorney General of the United States of America, was in Tallahassee, Florida today to meet with Ghislaine Maxwell and her lawyer, to intimidate her, to bribe her, to threaten her. It's one of those options because he wasn't here for justice. He was here for Trump. So let me break it down how I think it went. Came in the room and said, well, Ghislaine, a lot of trouble with this Epstein situation. You could make it very clear to people just how innocent Donald Trump is. You could make it very clear to people that Donald Trump never had anything to do with anything inappropriate with any minors. Donald Trump never had sex with an unwilling child sex slave recruited by Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein. You could make it clear, Ghislaine. You could come out and tell the truth. Be good for the country. Be good for you, Ghislaine. You might get people to look at you in a different light. Maybe if you did that, you keep your mouth shut, maybe you get a pardon at the end of this. I mean, obviously we can't let you out until the end of the administration. That's track one, the soft bribe, the pitch. Track two, Ghislaine, all this is coming out. If you decide you don't want to cooperate with us, that's fine. You can go back to your cell. And we know how hard you think the Federal Correctional Institute in Tallahassee is for women. We may have to move you, though. I mean, obviously, this is a place that could be, it's a little cushy for a notorious pedophile sex trafficker like you. Maybe a place that's a little more risky, but, obviously you've committed some terrible crimes and you don't want to take responsibility or try to help the country get past them. So, we could send you somewhere hotter, more dangerous. Might be a shame. That's the kind of place where a prisoner can get really depressed and you never know what happens then. And I think option three, the creepiest, the weirdest option, the Blanche may have gone in and just said, here's a document, sign it now, or we're done. The unspoken threat. Her worried about what happens next. Does she fall in the shower? Does she find herself hanging from a torn up bedsheet in her cell one night? You never know. And I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole with these people, but I will tell you something. The whole of government effort going on right now, including sending the Deputy Attorney General of the United States of America, Todd Blanche, to try to negotiate an exoneration of Donald Trump from a woman who ran an international pedophile child sex trafficking ring, tells you how panicked Trump is. Because Trump is in the Epstein files. Blanche knows Trump is in the Epstein files. Blanche has been probably the guy running the cover-up inside DOJ of the Epstein files. I suspect in part this visit to Tallahassee was because Blanche has already redacted or destroyed or hidden materials about Trump that they sent 1,000 FBI agents to dig through that material to hide references to Trump. I suspect Blanche was down here today for reasons that are darker than you think. I think the President of the United States, and I've increasingly come to believe this as this almost 2 weeks now of crisis has gone on, I think he's forgotten exactly what's in these materials. I think Trump has forgotten things like sending that wonderful secrets note to Jeffrey Epstein. And I think some of the things they found in those files reminded him. I think some of the things they found in those files woke up memories that he had of his time with Jeffrey, crimes he committed with Jeffrey, of things he did with Jeffrey. I don't think it's pretty. And honestly, I don't think he said to Todd Blanche or Pam Bondi, by the way, I remember the time I raped a member of Ghislaine's sex ring. I don't think he said that. I think he's keeping up the lie even internally. I never did this. I don't know him. I never knew him. I never did anything wrong. But in his heart, his brain, the panic has been rising and rising and rising and rising. Every day it's gotten crazier. You notice it's not going backward. The ratchet's only turning one direction with this guy. The idea that he was going to somehow change the subject every day. I mean, and now he's at the point where the QAnon shaman has abandoned him over this. This is a guy who does not have a grip on the narrative or control of his base. I think he realizes there are things that are going to come out that are so bad for him that it may break it completely. Todd Blanche, once again, the Deputy Attorney General of the United States, came to Florida to offer the woman who ran an international child trafficking pedophile sex ring a pardon. He came to offer her an inducement to lie about what Trump and Jeffrey Epstein were up to. I promise you, this was a meeting that was not recorded. This was a meeting where there were no notes taken. This was a meeting where David Markus, who is Todd Blanche's close friend, who represents Ghislaine Maxwell, sat at that table wanting it all to be over. He's sitting there thinking, she's going to be stuck here, and my buddy Todd's going to make me a good deal, and we can get this over with. I know lawyers have to zealously represent their clients, and maybe David Markus is zealously representing his client. I can't know, wasn't in the room. But I do know that Todd Blanche is also zealously representing his client, but he's mistaken. Todd Blanche's client, as the Deputy Attorney General of the United States, the number 2 man of the Department of Justice, is not Donald Trump. His client is the United States of America. His client is the American people. He does not represent Donald Trump in a non-corrupted Justice Department. But the fact that he's representing Donald Trump in this case, exclusively and personally, while taking a government salary and flying on a government jet down here to do it, is an indicator of how profoundly corrupt the Department of Justice has become. Pam Bondi is, rumor mills, pumping tonight that she's on her way out. I'm hearing she's going to quit rather than be fired. Doesn't see a way to hold the job because Trump is angry and he had to send Todd Blanche to do the work he thought she would do when she was told to clean this up 3 weeks ago. The cover-up that is being executed at the Department of Justice makes Watergate look like a ladies' garden lunch in Foster, Alabama in 1965. This cover-up is extensive. It is ongoing. It is illegal. It is corrupt. They're offering a federal prisoner who, once again, if I may point out, is a woman who ran an international pedophile child sex trafficking ring. They're offering her a bribe to lie on Donald Trump's behalf. Todd Blanche does not give a shit. Doesn't even give a fraction of a micro shit about the victims of Jeffrey Epstein and the victims of Ghislaine Maxwell. Doesn't care at all. Doesn't enter his mind, not a flicker of emotion, not a single thought. Nothing. Can't bother with that. But he can bother with the one man he cares about, and that's Donald Trump. Nothing Ghislaine Maxwell says at this point, you couldn't trust it anyway, or nothing she says at this point can be trusted ever. She has been approached. She has been offered either a threat or a bribe, and not a word out of her mouth can be verified now, especially if it exonerates Donald Trump. She's the last loose end. She's the last part of this puzzle where they don't have the documents. She's the last part of this puzzle where she's not part of that gigantic corpus of materials the DOJ seized and that 1,000 FBI agents have been analyzing for months. Nothing about this loose end makes Trump happy. Nothing about this unresolved person, this eyewitness. And remember, folks, there are so many pictures of Epstein with Trump and so many pictures of Maxwell with Trump that it defies imagination. These people were close. These people had relationships with each other. These people had close, intimate personal contact. And if you believe that Donald Trump didn't know had no clue about Jeffrey Epstein's sex ring, his pedophile sex ring, you're remarkably naive. Todd Blanche is a bad guy. He's a corrupt guy. He is corrupting the process of justice. He is working every minute of his life to give Donald Trump a free pass over his relationship with Epstein and the presence of the information's in the Epstein files. So when I say something to the people that are whistleblowing and leaking, keep it up. Be careful, but keep it up. The work that you have done has made a difference in the way America sees the truth about Donald Trump. The work that you have done has made a difference in exposing the corruption of this Department of Justice. So Todd Blanche got back on that private jet tonight. He flew back to Washington. I'm sure he's briefed the president by now. Trump, of course, lied about it today in the Oval Office. I have no idea what they're doing. I don't know any. Todd Blanche, who's that? I don't know.
Do you support the Justice Department seeking a new interview with Ghislaine Maxwell? Did you urge the Attorney General to seek one?
I don't know anything about it. They're going to what? Meet her?
Your Deputy Attorney General has reached out to Ghislaine Maxwell's attorney asking for a new interview.
Yeah, I don't know about it, but I think it's something that sounds appropriate.
Donald Trump is micromanaging every single moment of this operation. He trusts no one enough to do this except for Todd Blanche, the Deputy Attorney General of the United States of America, who flew on a private jet to Tallahassee, Florida this morning and met with Ghislaine Maxwell, the woman who ran an international pedophile sex ring for Donald Trump's best friend, Jeffrey Epstein. Todd Blanche is the elephant in the room. You should pay attention to what he does, what he says, because every word that comes out of his mouth corrupts the system of justice in this country one more step. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you listening. As always, you can do me a big favor and go out into the YouTube channel if you're watching this there, and like and subscribe, hit the bell, all those things for the algorithm. You can also follow me on my various podcasts. I am on the Lincoln Project podcast, the Enemies List podcast, this podcast every Friday, The Elephant in the Room. You can catch me streaming 3 times a week, strategy session on Lincoln Square, the breakdown on the Lincoln Project, and Behind the Numbers with the Wilsons, where my son Andrew and I parse through the polling of the week on Lincoln Square also. And on Mondays, I'm on with Molly John Fast on Fast Politics. Appreciate you all for listening, and you guys have a great weekend. I'm traveling again this weekend. This one's work, a little less fun than last time, but this is a work weekend for me. I'll be traveling. Hopefully pop in a couple of Substack lives as we go. Also, check out my Substack at The Rick Wilson, because it's been growing like a weed. I'm deeply honored by how fast it's been expanding. Thank you so much for everyone who's subscribed, whether you're on the free side or on the supporter side. I appreciate everybody who joins our community. It really means a lot. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.